Hi everyone, Clyde and Crammy with Nerd News Social. We're at LA Comic-Con and we get to interview today Eric and Julia. Hi guys.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We know you're doing signings today and everyone's very excited. It's a great Saturday to be here. So I just wanted to start with, so obviously X-Men is a huge thing and they're bringing it back, which is great. What made you guys specifically go after X-Men, or were you sought after?
Well, we were lucky enough to be sought after. It was a case of I'd done a couple previous jobs with the people doing the hiring, Margaret Lesh and Sydney Iwaner at Fox. And when they greenlit X-Men, I'd just done a year of Beetlejuice for them, and I guess they liked the tone of my writing, so they just said him, and cast me as the guy running the show on the writing side, and Julie as well. We've been doing lots of shows together, and they were thrilled to have us both.
And I became a writer on the show and got to write episodes like Days of Future Past Part 1 and Whatever It Takes and things like that. And also be a fly on the wall for the whole 5-year run because he was working on it the whole time and I was doing episodes. So,
I've watched the show a few times and all the way through. What happened at the end? Because there was that cliffhanger. I was always wondering why, if they got canceled or if it just that was supposed to be the actual ending.
Are we talking Graduation Day when we lose Professor X to go up into the skies with Lilandra?
Yes, where basically the spaceship comes and everyone's freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was supposed to be like everybody getting together for Dad's funeral, and so that was very much supposed to be an end point. Now, originally we'd planned to end it about 10 episodes earlier, and we were going to have 4 or 5 characters leave, and 4 or 5 new ones come on as new X-Men, as a kind of a tantalizing way to go out and saying, well, I wonder what the new team's adventures are going to be like.
That was for the 4-parter Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah.
So if you watch that was supposed to be the end of the series.
Yeah.
And then you got the call after you'd written everything.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to end it. Change everything back.
Yeah, so don't get rid of 4 or 5 people. Don't add these people on. Like Bishop and Shard and Psylocke and Archangel were going to stay on and be X-Men. And we're going to lose 4 or 5 of the current group. But they said, no, don't do that because we need more episodes with the current team. So that was a little bit of a high wire act, but we got through it.
Yeah, well, that's great. You mentioned that you guys worked on some shows together. A lot of them were animated shows. So what are some stuff you want to touch base on that you both worked on?
Well, we met at good old Disney Afternoon when I got my very first job in animation, was writing for Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, and then got to do that, got to do Goof Troop, got to do Darkwing Duck, got to do all those shows in the afternoons. And Eric, he was in the office next to me, and we met there. Then entered the world of the freelance universe, and that's when you got Beetlejuice.
Yeah, did Beetlejuice, and then we did Mummies Alive together, and Street Fighter, and a couple others.
And we're still speaking. We're still talking to each other, so that's good.
and one of the one non-animation show we got to run was Young Hercules, starring Ryan Gosling, which is for the people that did Hercules and Xena, Sam Raimi and those guys. So. That was really exciting. It was a very different way of working and writing. We found it easier than animation because you get to see what you've written played out like a couple days later, right away, and the scripts are a lot shorter. You're not writing when writing animation. We're writing for the artists so they can see everything, and when we're writing for live action, the directors say, well, just give us the basics and we'll choreograph it. So it was actually quicker and simpler doing the live action show than it is doing the animated shows.
Believe it or not, it's the truth, yeah. And that young Ryan Gosling, he had it even then. Whatever it is, he had it. He still has it.
Yeah, he just turned 18 during the show. He was 17 when he signed. And really skinny, like 6'1", 140.
Yeah, playing Hercules.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So they buffed him up as fast as they could.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure you appreciated that. So out of all the shows that you've done, is X-Men your favorite, or is there something else?
Oh, for me, absolutely.
And in terms of just the environment, the folks you got to work with, how everyone came together to make the show happen, I got to go along with that. X-Men was a real team effort, a lot of people involved, but a lot of people all pulling in the same direction. That doesn't always happen. You think it should, but it doesn't always happen.
There were a couple others that were really close. One was called Exo Squad, which we did for Universal. Some of the same creative people, writers and artists did for Universal about the same time as X-Men. Well, actually, one during a hiatus between X-Men seasons. And also, just of all things, when we were at Disney, when she was writing all those Chip and Dales, and she wrote more than anybody. There's one. I got to write 3 Winnie the Pooh episodes.
And I got to write a couple. Winnie the Pooh was a special experience.
And of all the things, it was a really satisfying show to write.
So X-Men's coming back.
Yes.
How excited are we?
Still not quite believing it. I got to be honest.
People have been asking us for 10 years, when? Now it's real, and we're curious. I mean, we've been made part of it. We've been hired on as consultants, but there's a massive young team of people that grew up on the show that are all very creative artists and designers and writers that are behind this show, and they just recently brought us on to be consultants on the show with them.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Just delighted that this is actually happening, and the folks in charge really seemed to love the original X-Men animated show and are keen to carry it on.
Okay, and then just last thing, real quick. Favorite characters from any show you've worked on?
That's you fall in love with someone on every show you do. You kind of hope, or else it's going to be awkward working for the next bit.
All right, let's do X-Men, and then one other one.
Okay, well, X-Men and one other.
Beast. He was the most fun to write for as a writer. He was the smartest, and we all wanted to pretend we were the smartest in the room as the writers. So good old Beast. Gotta love him.
Yeah, and for me on X-Men of all things, because most people like Gambit or Wolverine best, mine was Professor Xavier, because over 5 years I had 20 different writers working for me. So I felt like the guy in the wheelchair keeping this group of very different people together and trying to keep on focus. So I empathized with Xavier.
And then do I get to say Chip and Dale?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, because I love them too.
Being my first job, and then I got to write so many of those. Chip and Dale are special to me.
Yeah, gee, there's
hard.
a million of them, but I'll say Eeyore, because he was so melancholy and miserable, and if you say Eeyore, everybody knows exactly what you're talking about.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day for us. I grew up on all your shows, Toon Disney and X-Men and all that stuff, so it was really nice meeting you guys, and thank you guys so much for joining us. We're out.